What is going on, everybody? Malcolm back again from Majestic Skies. And today in this really exciting video, we're having an unboxing, first look, and brief review of the ALESIS Nitro Pro XL. So this is kind of their best bang for buck model. With it, you get an expanded version of the ALESIS Nitro, which includes a full-size snare, 4 toms, 3 cymbals, a hi-hat, and a mesh kick pad as well. So really amazing kit for the price. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this sucker unboxed. She's unboxed. Let's do it. I promise you, no drum sets were heard in that clip you just saw. But I just hate unboxing videos. I thought I'd have some fun with it, and that was my unboxing, guys. So other than that, let's go ahead. Let's get into this drum set now and test out some of the built-in presets. This does use the BFD sounds built into the module, so we should get pretty good presets just kind of out of the box.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One.
So as you could hear there, the built-in presets are actually pretty solid on this ALESIS Nitro, so pretty impressed for the price. Those BFD sounds built in are definitely making a big difference. Keep in mind that they're not all BFD sounds, so you will have kind of varying quality levels as you go through the presets, as you probably noticed in the sample there. But other than that, let's go ahead and move forward. Let's look at the build quality of this and what I think of actually how well this thing's built. Overall, I really cannot complain for the price. They've upgraded the actual frame to what I believe was on the ALESIS Command, which is all metal and feels really, really well built, super solid. So you definitely get some confidence as you're wailing on this thing. Now to get it set up, it was actually a lot more work than I thought. So I had to do a lot of tinkering and adjusting to kind of get it where I wanted, and I'm pretty happy with it now. I got it basically set out to be kind of more of a metal focused setup. I'm not very good at playing metal yet, but that's what I want to get into now. The one thing I do want to mention with the XL model in particular is that essentially you get the same frame as with the regular ALESIS Nitro. So that means that your two toms on this side are going to be pretty close together, and that definitely took a little bit of adjusting just to make sure nothing was bumping against anything and everything was kind of equally spaced from each other. But the actual shells are really, really nice on both the toms and the snare. And these borders around it, this is rubber, but they actually do have a metal frame, basically like a real tom, real snare. If you take this off, but obviously this dampens the sound a lot, so you're going to want to leave that on in pretty much all cases. So yeah, overall build quality, got nothing to complain about. Very, very well built. Okay, so now we're going to get into the module and why I think that some corners were definitely cut putting this module into such a nice drum set like this. So the screen on it is pretty pitiful, so trying to adjust even your kit, all you have is a number for that. So you have to print off a bunch of pieces of paper to know what kit you have there. The actual BFD sounds sound great, so the actual heart of this has some really, really nice drum sounds. But the actual interface is pretty bare bones. Does have everything you might need, so here's the click there. Got your metronome. You can change your time signature. Let's go back to 4/4. Easy to adjust the tempo. As somebody who's just learning the drums, as kind of I am with how sucky I am sometimes, it's great. You do also have a record function built in. You have a practice mode built in. I haven't really gone into that too much. Probably should, but it's having too much fun testing out kind of the MIDI features and everything like that. It does have Bluetooth built in, so you can basically do Bluetooth, and you get a month of DRUMEO. So I haven't started that. I really want to get good at double kick drum here. I got a double kick drum setup I've put together, but I got to get a little better before I start my DRUMEO subscription. So yeah, everything is built in here. It does work fairly decent. It's just trying to see what kit you're on and also adjusting the sounds. You have to print off like 4 pages here from the manual to be able to see what sounds you're adjusting. Otherwise, you're just going through a long list and adjusting them from there. So this is a must. You're going to have to print off the sounds, in my opinion, because it doesn't tell you what kit you're on. It doesn't say like rock kit, pop kit, jazz kit, anything like that. If you're doing MIDI out, you're limited to essentially this full kit in the XL model, so you can't add any additional pads without essentially introducing limitations. So yeah, keep that in mind. The XL model, that's the absolute maximum number of pads that you can do with this one module. So for that reason, I actually decided to keep my Yamaha module. So I got it mounted on the side here, and I'll get into this setup in another video. Okay, as far as adjusting the tension on these, very easy. Just like a real drum set, you can kind of feel the flex on it and adjust it to your liking, whatever's most comfortable with you. So I kind of adjusted mine to essentially mimic a real drum set as much as possible, so that, you know, essentially the actual tension gets a little bit looser as you go down the toms. Same thing with the kick pad, which is really nice. This is really the most surprising thing for the price point, is this mesh kick pad. Feels great. My only complaint is with this kick pad. So I have yet to be able to adjust the beater angle on this thing. So what happens is you try to loosen it, you try to adjust the beater angle, but I'll zoom in here. The problem is that this rod going through the kick pad here, or the beater, has a flat edge on it, so you can't adjust the angle unless you apparently, this is according to people online, rotate it 180 degrees, which I haven't been able to do, so we'll see. Hopefully I can find a way to adjust the beater angle. The tension's easy enough to adjust and everything else is fine, but yeah, I'm kind of locked in with that one beater angle, which does suck. The actual cymbals are pretty decent. I would say this is definitely kind of the cheaper part of the kit here. You can see it definitely picks up some marks pretty much right away. I've only had this for maybe 4 days, and you can see it's definitely getting pretty beat up there. So these are going to definitely have some marks on them from your consistent playing, but they feel good enough, and the chokes are decent. One thing to keep in mind with the chokes is it doesn't choke any particular spot, so you have to grab it right here where these bumps are. With that said, trying to use one of these as a ride does kind of suck in my opinion. I was a little spoiled with my Yamaha because I had a 3-zone ride, which is way better. Going back to like a single zone ride does kind of suck. Oh, you also get splashes, so you can do splashes with the kit. Moving on, let's go ahead and talk about how this connects up to your computer over VST. If you didn't know, it uses one single USB cable, so that single USB is giving all the MIDI information to your computer. Now, I do have a couple issues with basically how the MIDI functions on this. You don't get a lot of MIDI outputs, so you do get both zones for all of these, which is nice. But the cymbals, you're locked in with single zone. So there's no upgradability options there to be able to get multi-zone. This ride here is actually from a different module that I have connected right now. So I'm able to kind of jerry-rig something together where I can get multi-zone cymbals, but a bit of a disappointment that essentially with the module that this comes with, you can't do multi-zone cymbals, and there's just no way to do that. And you might think I'm nitpicking, but my Yamaha module, 10 years old at this point, and it still lets you do multi-zone cymbals, multi-zone snares. It lets you do basically whatever you want, and it's 10 years old. It's a dinosaur module that Yamaha came out with on their kind of entry-level e-drums at the time. So I got to really give it to Yamaha for being ahead of the curve there, because that module has aged really well, especially comparing it to this ALESIS, which of course ALESIS does have better modules. They have the technology to do better, but that's kind of something that they have cheaped out on the ALESIS Nitro. So you can still choke them in the MIDI, as you can see, but not all VST plugins will support that, which I learned the hard way. So I have Moto drums, which I just purchased, which is, in my opinion, a little better than the BFD player that comes included for free. That obviously is partnered with ALESIS, but it doesn't allow you to do the chokeable cymbals. So I had to kind of jerry-rig kind of a ghetto setup, but it does work. And the way I have it set up now, I'm able to retain all the functions of the ALESIS while still being able to use this other module. So let's give it a listen here and see what kind of sound quality you can get when you're recording MIDI out and using kind of a higher end, more production quality VST. So there you have it. I think you'll definitely notice a big bump in the actual audio quality that you get with this. This is just one example. Obviously, you can do a lot of different kits. Obviously, options are kind of limitless when you're doing MIDI out, especially with 2 modules. Like I got basically unlimited connections I can do with my Yamaha here just off screen. So right now I'm just using the ride, honestly. But I'm going to do a full setup where I kind of have a modular addition I can get to really do kind of some more crazy stuff with this drum setup and make it kind of my dream drum setup, which it essentially is right now, let's be honest. I mean, look, we got 3 crashes, we got a ride, we got a hi-hat, and it all just works pretty darn good. Now, the reason that you're not able to do chokeable cymbals with every piece of software is it actually uses aftertouch technology to do the choking. So the Moto Drum plugin I have doesn't actually support that. So that is one limiting factor. You might have to use multiple plugins at once to be able to get that functionality. Works fine without that, but definitely most of these issues that I'm having are due to the cheaper module that they put in with this setup. So the point I'm trying to make is there are workarounds to essentially resolve a lot of the issues that you might have doing MIDI out with this, but it would be nice if it was a little bit more plug and play. Anyway, let's give it one more sample test here and we'll close off the video. Alright, so from here, let's move on to conclusions. Do I feel this ALESIS Nitro Pro is a good drum kit, and would I recommend it to your average buyer? Oh, I'd say it's definitely a resounding yes. I really love this kit, especially for the price. You really can't do much better than this. As I said, I do have some gripes with it, mainly with the module that's included, not really giving any pass for upgradability, especially with the XL model. This is the maximum you're going to be able to do. There's really no other options past the 4 toms, 3 cymbals, and the hi-hat. But for your average player that isn't doing much MIDI, I think it's honestly pretty solid out of the box. If you're willing to honestly record directly from the unit as well, you're going to get some pretty high quality recordings out of it with the BFD kits built in. But I would say if you're kind of more of an advanced user, you know, like a really, really good drummer that is at kind of that top echelon that I'm not at, I would honestly recommend spending more and getting a more professional kit, because if you're doing MIDI out, this will not be able to do essentially your dream setup with a single module. So, you know, I've kind of figured out a jerry-rig solution with my second module here, but your average person probably isn't going to want to do that. So obviously ALESIS does have much higher end models in their lineup, which I'd really recommend if you're wanting your dream setup out of the box with one module. That's the way to go, is just bite the bullet, spend the extra, I don't know, $500 to $800 more and just get the exact setup you want. But me personally, I just didn't have that in my budget, and I knew that this one was going to basically fix all the issues I had with my kind of budget Yamaha snares and toms, and it really did. So for my own uses, this was the perfect option for me. But like I said, depending on what you're planning on doing with it, definitely be cautious and do your research and make sure that this is the kit for you. Other than that, I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as I'm going to have a lot more drumming and guitar videos coming soon. I'm actually working on my first studio album that's been in the works for far too long, so should hopefully have that kind of finalized towards the end of winter, but definitely going to be a lot more exciting content coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.